Yo everyone, what's cracking? Here with another video. Again, Lei. Some more tech for you guys. This time it's rage drive setups. Now, it can be a bit tricky, seeing as Lei has to be in one of his 5 stances to do the rage drives, right? But they're all so good, and there are plenty of setups. You just sometimes have to condition your opponent to get the rage drive, or at least a chance, because if they actually don't respect it, they can just jab you out of the stances. These setups I've got for you guys here, they're either guaranteed 50-50, or it will hit them if they retaliate. So yeah, let's get into the juicy stuff. Okay, so we'll go through the snake rage drives first. This one here is a setup that works if the enemy tries to jab you. So if you do down 4 into down to go into snake stance, and then you do the rage drive, if they do any high at all, it will get crushed and they'll go flying. So the second one is guaranteed 50-50. If you do down back 4, which is the first half of the hell sweep, but you don't finish it and you hold down or up, it will go into snake stance. And then if they try to retaliate, they'll get hit by the rage drive. If they get up backwards, you can time it so they'll get hit by the rage drive. And they're also head first, so that's where you always want the enemy to be when you want to do a mix up. Okay, so this next one is probably my favorite one, but you have to be already in snake stance. So if you do snake stance 1-2-1-2 and they don't duck the last hit, the pushback from 2 will allow it, so if you do the rage drive straight away after that and they try to retaliate, they will whiff in front of you and you'll get an easy 40 damage straight from that. Okay, so this next one I found is quite interesting. I don't know if it's actually going to work in games, but you can test it out. So basically, mid combo, after the screw, if you do down forward 2 and then press forward, they go into snake stance. So if you follow them when they tech roll, it's a force 50-50. If they try to interrupt, you can just change the timing and do it a bit quicker. So this one is a bit of a gamble, but I reckon it's pretty unexpected, and you'll be able to catch some people with it. Okay, so moving on with the dragon rage drive. So the first setup I got here, it's pretty dirty. If you do snake 2-2 and then forward, if it's on block and they jab you, this rage drive will high crush. If they try to jab you a bit later, it will trade with it. And best of all, if it's on hit, they can't retaliate because they'll get smashed. Okay, so this next move, sidestep 1, if you don't use it already, you should use it all the time because it's the quickest transition into dragon and into tiger stance. So basically sidestep 1, sidestep 1 and then up into dragon rage drive. Again, if they jab, it high crushes. If it's on hit, they bleed out and they literally cannot retaliate no matter what. They get almost half health gone if they retaliate. And basically, yeah, but be careful if they do a mid or a low, they will crush it and break the setup. So just, I guess, base it off what your opponent does. You know, if they hop kick a lot, don't do this one. Alright, so this next one needs you to be actually in dragon stance. You can get into it whatever way you want. You don't have to do back 2 like I just did, as that's -9. Basically, you 4-1-2-2, and if that's on hit, they cannot retaliate and you can get the dragon rage drive clean. It's pretty fast, the dragon for the start. I'm pretty sure it'll be like something like 12 frames or something. So this setup's not that out of the question to get. It's just you need them to be pressing buttons because it needs to be on hit. That being said, as you just saw, it does high crush if it's on block again. So yeah, someone who likes to jab a lot will get hit by a lot of these dragon setups. This next one people will probably complain about, saying it's not useful, but I like it, so I don't really care. Basically, after a screw, you do back 2 and then forward. And then while in dragon stance, you do a little step, because most people will most likely just back roll or tech roll or, you know, some sort of defensive maneuver. So if you press forward once, you'll chase them down, and then they have to respect the mix up. If they do catch on, you're trying to do the rage drive, you could easily just do a low. And as you can see here, even more goodies. If you do the dragon low and hold forward, you go into crane, and then try the crane rage drive. So I mean, if your opponent's a safe kind of guy who likes to block a lot, chances are, you know, this setup will work on him, and then you can condition him with lows, so he ducks. Okay, so moving on to Panther. if you are in snake stance and you do 1-2-1 and then hold forward, he'll go into Panther stance, right? But here's the great part. Again, the stance itself crushes highs. So doing the rage drive will immediately crush the highs, and as it's low, it puts them into an instant screw. So that's great. And on hit, the opponent can't retaliate either. So this is guaranteed if they press anything after the 1-2-1. Alright, so this next one is super effective. So if you do in snake stance 2-2-2, the last one is a low, so unless they're ready for it, they'll probably get clipped by the low, and on hit, this low will frame trap the opponent for the rage drive. So if they press anything after that, they will get hit. And the best thing ever is that once they see this, because the last two, if you know it's coming, because it's the only extension of the string, you can just stop at 2-2, hold forward, and do the dragon rage drive that we mentioned earlier. So that's another mix-up in itself. Alright, so next up we got arguably the best stance, the tiger stance. Now, this is great because the setup is down forward 1+2, and then you hold forward for tiger. But it's -7 or something on block, right? So they can just challenge you, right? Wrong. Because if you just hold forward, it will parry all highs and mids, and if they start to catch on to this, you can just not go into stance and just low parry. Then they're conditioned for the rage drive, which comes next. And of course, once they just sit there like scrubs, then you can do the Tiger 4, which is another launcher in itself. This guy is actually OP. Alright, again, much like the last one, sidestep 1, again, very underrated. If they retaliate, because it's -2, of course you condition them with parrying, and then you get your free 50-50 again, essentially. By the way, don't forget that if you do parry him, you're +6, so that's another mix-up that you get to do whatever you want, pretty much. Alright, now this is my absolute favorite king of the hill setup. So after a screw, you do down forward 1+2, and this knocks them head first, face down, right? So basically, if they roll, the rage drive will get them on the ground while they roll, which, by the way, you get a free up forward too, as you saw. If they try to stand up, so quick rise, they will get hit as well on top of the head. The only way to beat this setup, well, there's two ways. You can either stay on the ground, or you can back quick roll. But that being said, if they try to back quick roll and retaliate, this will still catch them in midair, and you still get the follow up. So basically all it's left to do for them is back roll and then block, which again leaves us at frame advantage and a free 50-50. So yeah, I recommend you guys use this setup, because in my personal opinion it's huge. This is just another quick addition to the last setup. If you put yourself in lay down position, or you're just on the floor and you do this, if you get them with the get up kick and then do down forward 1+2, it's the same situation again. Okay, so this one, while you're in dragon stance, if you press 2, it's plus frames, but they can attack you, right? So if they panic and jab you or do a mid, again, you can condition them with the parry. If they do the low, you can actually press 3, which is a jump over mid kick. And then finally, once they're conditioned, you can get them with the actual rage drive. So pretty good. Okay, so this next one is dragon forward 1+2, and then you press forward to go into tiger. Now, the thing about this is, it wall splats on hit. So basically, if you try in this setup and they don't block, you easily get a wall splat. But this is the best part of this setup. On block, you can do this whenever you want. You don't have to worry about actually hitting them. The pushback makes it so if they do retaliate, they'll whiff in front of your face for the chunkiest launcher you can do in range. Alrighty, so onto the final stance. This is the crane rage drives. So first one is up forward 3 into the rage drive. Now, the good thing is, just pressing up forward 3, it automatically goes into the crane stance. Now, this move is actually safe as well, and it will auto hop kick any lows by itself. Now, on hit, the opponent is frame trapped. So if they try to press anything again, like I've said, they'll get launched. If it is blocked, the opponent can't get a full launch as you're airborne if you actually follow through with the whole thing. You have to be a bit careful with this one though, because if it is blocked, the first kick, the opponent can jab you out of the rage drive. Another thing is you can't block in crane. So as ugly as it looks, you're probably just better off finishing the whole thing with the raise drive. And last thing about this that I want to talk about is on counter hit, the up forward 3 launches. So obviously the raise drive is guaranteed after that, which would make for a pretty stylish looking combo. Alright, and the final setup, I kind of like this one as well. Again, people are going to be like, oh, it's too hard to hit, but whatever, it's still a setup and it exists. So after you screw in a combo, you do forward 4, 3 plus 4, but you hold forward and he cancels the last kick, right? Now, after the first kick, you walk up and delay the raise drive so that they have to block. Because obviously, again, I reckon a lot of people will tech or hold back. Sorry, nearly choked. If they do try to get up and kick, that's fine. The crane drive, you can hit them sooner with, rather than just waiting and taking a step. And yeah, if they just wait and block the raise drive, crane has a really great low with 4, which knocks down and you get a 50-50 again. So yeah, fellas, that's about all I could come up with using the Reiji Drive. If you guys have any more ideas or you got any questions, hit me up. Until then, land those rage drives, boys.